progress and maybe naming a thing or two you'd like to really see improvement on as we move forward?
Sure. Well, I feel like, gaining experience is the most important thing for us, and I feel like guys are improving with each practice. I think the biggest thing is, most obviously, is we need to improve defensively. We have, I feel like we're a pretty efficient offensive team. When we shoot the ball reasonably well from three, we're a good offensive team. But we need to improve, significantly on defense. Our efforts there, we're working on it. But that's the biggest thing that needs all of our attention and our effort and everything that we're working toward.
Did their game against Dayton give you a really good blueprint about what it is they can do well and what it is that you might be able to exploit?
Well, I hope so. One thing is they started out so well and they made shots. They made 3-point shots. As the game went on, Dayton made 3-point shots and GW didn't. But they played a fair amount of zone. I think we're going to see a lot of zone, and I think we get to see a little bit of the guys who are, who are more aggressive. I mean, as conference opens up, you get to see the guys who are really, very, very aggressive in trying to score, and I feel like that gives us a good indication. I think they have some talented players, and again, our defense just needs to improve and be better. And if we can sustain that for longer periods of time, we'll give ourselves a good chance.
Chris, on the defensive front, do the Spiders have enough big people and strong people to play good defense?
I think so. I think that we've had, we're not the biggest team, but I feel like, John, to be honest with you, Rhode Island and Dayton would probably be the exceptions in terms of their size and kind of physicality. I think that most teams don't probably have or play multiple big guys. And I think in the Dayton game, because their zone was so effective and we weren't shooting well, they were able to play the two big guys a little bit more because they were playing zone. So that's always the give and take. If you play more big guys, how do you match up defensively? It's going to help you rebound better and maybe create a better physical presence, but how can you run around and match a team's speed? So I think I don't necessarily think that's not the number one issue. Those size and strength and those things are important.
Jacob said that, obviously there's a long season left, obviously a lot of conference season, but with a younger team, do you have to kind of caution against getting too discouraged after a start that maybe is not ideal?
In one way, yes. I feel like, no, in one way, I think our guys are resilient and they love to play basketball and there's room for improvement and we're seeing improvement. I think on the other side, yes, you have to make them understand that, how bad each game feels, and, GW probably feels down after giving up such a big lead to Dayton. We feel down because we got in a hole against Rhode Island and lost a home game. That we wanted to win. So I feel like you're going through and you're looking at this big picture and you're trying to keep the guys abreast of this big picture, but there are these small challenges every 3 or 4 days that you really have to try to rise and meet.
Jacob also said something about he thought maybe some guys haven't been locked in at the start of games and feeling the game out. How do you fix that?
Yeah.
Is that normal?
Well, I don't know whether it's normal or not, but I feel like we've seen that before, and it's something we're really jumping on the guys about. If an older guy who's aggressive in his mindset is ready to play, he has a big advantage of somebody who's trying to feel the game out. And you just have to. It's whether you come off the bench or whether you start the game. Those first plays, they have to be something where, we talk about, running into a screen and grabbing a rebound and diving on the floor. Those are the things that really get you into a game. And I think we need to concentrate better in that department.
How much do you need your older players to kind of police that in the locker room too?
Well, that's big, and for us, I mean, a lot, so much responsibility falls on Jacob and Grant, and they're our best players, and they have some experience, yet they're sophomores, and so for those guys, they can do it, they can demonstrate it, when they're on the floor because they're out there the whole game, and they can also talk about it and urge guys to be better. And I think they're growing more and more comfortable with doing that.
We're almost really at the halfway point of the season. How about gauging the progress the Spiders have made thus far?
I think it's been a couple ups and downs, but I think we've gotten better. Obviously, just from the beginning of the year, the Longwood game, we've definitely came a long way since then, and especially since losing Nick, I think we've all gotten better.
Can you look back to last season and think about these freshmen now, and if you had any sort of hitting the wall moment or moments in the second half of your freshman year, and maybe what you'd advise these guys to do?
I think in the second half of my freshman year, the mindset for me was just try to be consistent. I think in the first half of the season, I had a couple games where I'd have 0 and then maybe like 16 or something like that. And so my mindset was just to be consistent, and I think that's what we need to get out of our younger guys right now.
Have you all watched any of Wednesday night's game with them and Dayton to see what they did well at first and what Dayton was able to do to come back on them, or not a lot?
Our coaches have. The team hasn't yet. I mean, I haven't for sure. I haven't got a chance to, but the coaches have.
What do you know about GW? If you haven't seen that game, what do you know with Scout going in?
They beat us pretty bad last year at GW. They're a good team. They figured out some problems in our matchup. They try to exploit them, so we'll have to be ready for that. And then they're hot. I mean, obviously they kind of feel how we do. They should have won that game against Dayton, obviously, and so they're probably mad about that. So they're going to be coming out ready to play.
How much motivation do you take from that game at GW last year? You guys that played in that game.
It'll be a lot for us. Obviously, it'll be in the back of our head. I mean, it's a different team. They definitely have a different team, but they're pretty good this year. So we're just going to come out and try and compete.
Still a long way to go in the conference season, Jacob. What do you guys do to kind of keep from getting discouraged and not letting the 0-2 start kind of, spiral into more?
I mean, it's really early. It's not the end of the world. It's just 2 games in. Last year we started off 1-4 in conference and still could have got that 4th place and got the double bye in the tournament. So we know it's a long season. There's still more games ahead for us. So we're just going to come out and compete day by day.
Despite the difference in opponents, is there something uniformly that you guys can do to start better, especially in these conference games?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really come down to the opponents. It comes down to us, obviously. Some of us just aren't locked in right away. Obviously, we just need to come out better and have a better start.
Is that something you guys are talking about? Is it change your routine before the game? Is it mental? Just what?
A little bit of all of that. Obviously, it's mental. I think people are starting to understand that, I mean, it's kind of time now. It actually matters. I mean, But obviously people are starting to prepare differently. Obviously, it's more of a professional approach now.